Hi, I'm Utramex, and things are about to get dramatic as we look at another figure from NECA's TMNT Universal Monsters crossover with Casey Jones as the Phantom. So let's go! Well, I hope everyone's having as good a Halloween season as I am, and it's made especially good because of all these Universal Monsters TMNT figures that I get to play with. And the next figure from the Haunted Toy Box is Casey Jones as the Phantom of the Opera. I originally thought this line would only be the 4 turtles, but it's exciting to see that they included Casey Jones, and of course he would be the Phantom of the Opera. I can't imagine him as any other character. And the Phantom is an important part of Universal's history. Without Lon Chaney and his Phantom of the Opera, we wouldn't have movie monsters as we know them today. But without further ado, let's get this show on the road and take a closer look at this horror hockey hero. And here we have another TMNT and Universal Monsters. It's Casey Jones as the Phantom. As usual, we have beautiful artwork by Daniel Horn. I really love these paintings and would really love to have prints of them to just hang on my wall. And looking at the side, just like with all the others, we have the spine with the name and logo and a picture of Phantom Casey on the bottom. And looking at the back, it says, the enigmatic, operatic man behind the mask, bringing fear in hockey gear, the penalty box vigilante, experience theatrical frights, stalking under the stage, who or what is it, slashing beneath the ice. Casey Jones as the Phantom. And another beautiful old school style poster. And of course we can't forget all the talented people who bring us these amazing figures. And in case you want to know what the accessories are, there's a list here at the bottom. And like most NECA figures, we have a flap with some figure photography on the inside, and then we have the window package showing off the figure and the accessories. Difficult to film with the glare, so what we're going to do is go ahead and open this thing up and take a closer look. And another thing that NECA continues to do is include these backdrop inserts. This one of some stone stairs probably going down into the Paris catacombs. One thing I'm noticing that isn't consistent is what kind of paper these are printed on. This is a thinner glossy cardboard, whereas some of them are on a thicker stock. So this one might not last as long as the others. But you can still take some decent photos with it or include it in one of your own mini dioramas. And here we have Casey Jones as the Phantom of the Opera, and we're going to start with what my favorite thing about most NECA figures are, and that is the sculpt. First off, I love the incorporation of turn-of-the-century 1800s to 1900s sports equipment, like these old-school long socks, vintage cleats, and his Ninja Turtle-style knee pads. And I'm not sure if these are old hockey pants or old football style from when they used to wear the leather helmets, but they're very cool, and I like this little bit of gray dry brushing on it that helps bring out the texture. And he's wearing this formal style sport coat, but it looks like these sleeves have been cut off, so it kind of reminds me of the 1990 figure. And I like that they carry the detail from the legs up into the arms. Detail is kind of sparse on the back of the figure. It's a pretty decent sculpt, but there's not a lot there, except for these random buttons. I'm not sure what that's about. This figure is more formally dressed than we're used to seeing the Vigilante, but this mask is totally Casey Jones. But it also kind of reminds me of the mask that Mick Thompson from Slipknot wears, and I think that's on purpose, knowing that a lot of the guys at NECA are big heavy metal fans. Also, maybe a little bit of Jason Voorhees. Either way, great sculpt. The figure also has this rubbery hair and these like strands that hang down in front of the face. I like that they are flexible so they're less likely to break. And like the 1990 Casey figure, this mask is permanently attached to this ball socket jointed head. Some of the other articulation is a swivel and rotation. And we have a swivel rotation at the elbow. I'm very happy that this has a single elbow instead of the double elbow that just doesn't look right to me. And down here he has the standard NECA rotation swivel hips that are aided by the rubber diaper up here so that it keeps them from causing any breakage or collision. He also has some double knees. I don't mind the double knees, I just don't like double elbows. And he does have a little ankle rocker and a swivel, but it is tight. Be careful with NECA figures. He also has a rotation and swivel at the wrist, pretty much like any other figure. Even though Casey doesn't have anything crazy in the way of articulation, you can still get him into some pretty good poses. And to help with those poses, we have some pretty cool accessories, so let's take a closer look at those. So we're going to look at this alternate head, which has a different mask. This is sort of like the Broadway version from Andrew Lloyd Webber, half mask as opposed to the veiled mask of the original movie. And here it shows a little bit more of his disfigurement underneath. They've managed to capture a lot of the Phantom's features, like the upturned nose from the original character, just like they did with the NECA Phantom of the Opera figure. And it's a clever way of achieving that since they can't use the actual face underneath. And this head has some more stringy hair, this time pushed away from his face, and it's made out of that same rubbery material. This is a great portrait, now I gotta decide which one I'm gonna use. In addition to the half-mask portrait, he also comes with this skull, which could be held as a prop, but it also has a peg hole underneath so it can be used as an alternate head for the figure. And of course, what is Casey without his hockey equipment? Here we have a goalie stick. This one is wrapped up in some black grip tape, so it matches the darker, more monstery version of this character. And his standard hockey stick carries that design over. The texture on the tape is awesome. The sculptors have a great attention to detail. And this fancy Phantom has a very nice, kind of velvety feeling cape. And a detail that I really like, it's kind of dark and hard to see, but is this plastic collar. I personally always have a problem with clothed figures because I feel like the fabric is always too thick. If a real person was wearing it, I feel like the fabric would be at least half an inch thick. But the thickness on this is just right, and it flows just right. In trying to fold and sew a collar like that, they always look terrible, so I'm really glad they did this. Also, it has a very, very thin bendy wire in here, but that will allow you to get some nice, flowing, billowing poses. For display purposes, I think this makes the figure way more dynamic, and helps to represent the theatrics that the Phantom is known for. And the first set of alternate hands the figure comes with is a set of hockey mitts. I like this skull on the front of it, kind of reminds me of the 2012 Casey, and it has these spikes on the front that I'm not sure are allowed in a hockey game. You might get a penalty for that. And the sculpt is cool because it keeps with that vintage look. And like every other NECA turtle figure, he comes with a set of gripping hands, a pair of wider gripping hands, and a pair of even wider gripping hands. Phantom Casey is a fantastic sculpt, a fantastic character, and another great addition to my collection. So that's one more monster off the list, but we still have 4 more to get to. So who will it be next? You can find out next time as I take another look at Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles crossover with Universal Monsters by NECA Toys. But until then, later dudes.
Feast your eyes and glut your soul for the all-new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Universal Monsters. Casey Jones as the Phantom of the Opera comes with everything you'll see here. Surrender your soul to the angel of music.
Hey guys, if you liked the video, don't forget to kick that like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. I upload every Turtle Tuesday, so you can always come back to see what's new. You can also check me out on various social media, links in the description. And as always, for all things Turtles, check TMNT Universe.